Hey, boys and girls, Miss Talton here. We're going to read a nonfiction story today. So remember, fiction means fake. So nonfiction means that it's not fake. So these are going to be real stories. And this is a real story about how our country began and where our country came from and how it got started. It's called Happy Birthday USA. And USA stands for United States of America. So let's read this story and let's kind of think about why would someone write a story like this? Well, I think if we're going to learn about our country, I think that would be important for us, first of all, to know about our country and know why we're here and how we got here and how we have the things and do the things that we do today. So maybe that could be a good reason for someone to write a story like this, because if we don't study it, we don't know exactly what happened. So let's think about at the end of the story, let's talk about what the author was wanting us to learn and why they chose to write this. Okay, so be listening for some clues that might help us figure this out. Okay, happy birthday, USA. Why do we celebrate the 4th of July? Whiz, bam, boom, bang. What's the sound of fireworks that tear through the air? Colors light up the sky, bands play, and crowds roar. It's the 4th of July. Each year, people celebrate the birthday of the United States. It is a day for us all to share. We enjoy favorite things such as fireworks, parades, and picnics. This kind of party has gone on for over 200 years. But how did this holiday begin? So remember, if you look at the pictures of nonfiction stories, they're usually real photographs of real things or real people. So we can look at this and just see the pictures and say, hey, this has got to be a real story. Those are real kids and those are real fireworks. Look at the caption down below of the kids. It says parades are a favorite way to celebrate July the 4th. We do like to enjoy some parades and especially fireworks, and we can go watch them, or adults can shoot them in our own yards and places for us. My family loves to get together and have a big cookout, and we swim and we play outside, and we might throw football or play baseball, or the kids just all get together and we have a good time. So we like to celebrate it that way. In 1775, our nation was small. It had just 13 colonies. A colony is like a state, but it's ruled by a leader far, far away. This ruler was the King of England. The people in the colonies did not like this. They felt that the king's rules were not very fair. They felt he did not care if they were happy. Look at the caption down below the horses in the wagon. It says, our country began over 200 years ago. So that's kind of what it looked like if you were to walk down a street. You didn't see a bunch of cars going down at that time. There were nice, pretty houses and trees and things like that were the same. But you would see horses and wagons, and you would see little benches like that instead of chairs and things. And our country was just getting started. On June 11th, 1776, leaders of the young colonies met as a group called Congress. The people of the colonies wanted to split away from England. The leaders wanted to unite to make new rules and write their own laws. Look at the caption up in top of that big building there. It says, this is Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Many rules for our nation were written here. So that is a big place. You could actually go visit that. It's a good ways away from here where we live, but you could travel there and see some of the cool things that they did. Thomas Jefferson led the team that wrote the Declaration of Independence. They wrote it in just a few weeks. It declares that people should be free to be happy and that they should be free from rulers far away. The writers wanted to choose their own kind of government. So they were saying things like, this is not fair that someone that's not even here, that someone who's very far away from us is ruling us and telling us what we can and can't do, and he doesn't understand what it's like to live here. So they said that wasn't fair, that we should have our own rulers here where we live. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Years later, he became the third president of the United States. We've studied a little bit about Thomas Jefferson, and he is also on the nickel. If you look at your coins, he's on the nickel. You might see his face there. Leaders started to sign the Declaration of Independence on July the 4th, 1776. They sent it to the King of England. He was surprised the colonies dared to do this. He did not want the colonies to be free. He still wanted to rule us, didn't he? The Declaration of Independence was first read out loud on July the 4th. Music blared and bells rang. 1 year later, fireworks lit up the sky on July the 4th. So now you know why we celebrate with fireworks, because the very first year afterwards, they decided to do that just to celebrate and help us remember where our country first was when we weren't free. So we had to earn this freedom. Thomas Jefferson and other leaders in Congress talked about how to split away from England. So if you look at that picture right there, you can see all of those men. They had some funny hairstyles back then, but that's them. They are all sitting around, and the people standing up, those are what we call our founding fathers. They're the ones who helped Thomas Jefferson come up with all of the laws, and all of those men sitting around were people from all of the states, and they signed it so that they would all be a part of it and so that all the colonies would be free. So that was in that Independence Hall, the picture that you've seen on the other page. That is a building or a room inside that building. This was just the beginning. It took a long fight for our nation to be free, but it would not have happened without the Declaration of Independence. Look at the caption down below. It says, "This is the Declaration of Independence." It told King George that the 3 colonies wanted to be free from England. So I'm imagining that King George was not very happy when he got this letter in England. He probably did not agree with it, and he gave them a very, very hard time. And it took a long time for us to earn our freedom. They even had wars over it. It says we celebrate our freedom and the Declaration every year on the 4th of July. It's no wonder it's our nation's favorite holiday, because it's very important for us to celebrate the 4th of July, because if it weren't for us having that Declaration of Independence and being a free country from England, the king and the queen would still be ruling us today. They would still be telling us what we can and cannot do, and they would be controlling us from overseas, and that would not be very fair. We would not be able to do a lot of the things that we do today in our country. So we wouldn't be able to have all those other holidays and all the other fun things that we do. So it's really important that we celebrate it, and always remember that it's not just about fireworks. It's about celebrating and being happy about the things that we have here in our country. Okay, so let's think. Why did the author write this story? Well, we can sit and think about some of the things that it told us. It said we celebrate the United States on the 4th of July with fireworks, parades, and picnics. It talked about the Declaration of Independence and how it was read out loud and everyone signed it. They were also excited about it. And it even talked about King George, right? So this story gives us information about how and why we celebrate the 4th of July. So the author just wanted us to know all of the details and help us give us some clarity on why do we celebrate and why do we have these fireworks and why do we get together. And so this kind of helps to give us a new outlook on why do we celebrate the 4th of July. Now, the 4th of July will be coming up in a couple of months. We will not be in school when you celebrate it, but I want you to be able to think about this story and remember it whenever you're celebrating. And you can even share with your family about the Declaration and why we decided that we wanted to be a free country from King